Welcome back, boys and girls. Your boys Raj and Rambo are back, and it's another tactical analysis. Liverpool against Manchester United. Of course, if you're new to the channel, subscribe because there's plenty of tactical analysis coming your way and plenty for you to watch already. A few comments from last week, by the way, Raj, you can say hi if you want.
Yeah, hi.
A few comments from last week. Talha Ashraf said, great analysis from both of you, by the way. Thank you very much for that. And Nazi said, incredible. So thank you again very much for that. We'll get right into this because it was a cracking game. A lot of people saying the title is sewn up for Liverpool. So get in the comments below. Let us know what you think on the title race. Whether, and I've got a very genuine question, if Liverpool go on to win the Premier League, go unbeaten and win the Champions League, are they the best side to have ever played a singular Premier League season? I'm looking at, obviously, comparison to Manchester United's treble and also Arsenal's invincible. Raj, you head to the board. Let's get cracking. All right, Raj, you're at the board, so as usual, you can kick us off. Actually, we've got to look at the system because Manchester United has had everyone bamboozled at the start.
Yeah, I remember messaging you. I was like, is Shaw playing left wing? Is Williams playing left wing? So it ended up being a three at the back system, quite interestingly, from Solskjaer. Hasn't really used that much. I mean, Shaw played left centre-back against Barcelona in the first leg back in last season, but he hasn't really played that since. And it's very interesting how he did that, really. I think what it did, it enabled Wan-Bissaka on the right and Brandon Williams on the left. They got very tight to Trent and Robertson. I think that was the main aim from the five at the back system. They didn't want us to give them any space at all. They tried to suffocate them, really. Because you always saw Wan-Bissaka, he was really getting up there alongside Robertson, nice and personal to him. And I think that was an interesting ploy from Solskjaer.
Yeah, I think in all fairness, United kind of played a similar sort of system against Liverpool early in the season, and essentially, obviously, but that time round it was basically to sit in and soak up. This time round, United were almost playing offensively defensive. But what was interesting is Liverpool in the first 10 minutes almost let United have the ball. They almost said, "You don't enjoy playing against a low block. You don't actually enjoy having the ball, so we'll let you have the ball." Liverpool didn't really press. United pressed Liverpool when they had the opportunities to, but I just felt that system was non-sustainable with that three at the back of Shaw, Maguire and Lindelof. I felt like at some point it was going to get breached, and when it did, I felt like everything sort of changed a little bit in the sense of the direction of the game took a different sort of vehicle.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually, because sometimes we do talk a lot about tactics, but at the end of the day, a lot is individual quality. I was never comfortable with Shaw being left 1v1 against Mo Salah half the time.
Yeah.
He was getting so tight to him, and Salah was spinning him on occasion. He did get a few challenges in on him, but that, as you said, that's not sustainable. The second thing which isn't sustainable is Victor Lindelof defending wide channels. We've seen it in a back four. He was horrific against Arsenal for the first goal, and he let Sead Kolasinac have the whole left flank to assist for Pepe. And similarly, I wasn't comfortable with him defending in that wide right centre-back position.
Yeah, I think you also messaged me about Chambers. What Ox did probably for 30 minutes of the first 45 minutes is he dropped into and almost received the ball off the defence. What that created is Pereira followed him in, Matic half followed him in, and that allowed Trent to keep clipping the ball into that area where Salah kept getting Shaw 1v1. And if it wasn't for a bit of good fortune in the first half, United would have had a lot more problems. But then also the problem with the non-sustainability of that system is in the first half United made 16 clearances and 9 interceptions. That's 25. I feel like that's 25 last-ditch bits of defending, and that's a problem. Against a team like Liverpool, it's going to eventually be broken down.
That's too much, actually. I wasn't aware of those figures, but that's really astounding, to be honest. Yeah, I think you're right as well, because Pereira, I saw his average position. His average position was actually the highest up the pitch for Manchester United. Yeah. It is a very strange role he was playing, and I actually think that is why we did a video on Bruno Fernandes to Manchester United. He's what they need in that position.
Cheeky plug.
Cheeky little plug. I thought if you can have a player who's really pushing ahead of the front two, you need someone like Fernandes who's actually going to make smart, intelligent runs into the box. Because Pereira, he's running down blind alleys half the time, and I don't know what he's trying to achieve by playing him there, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because he's shown he's not up to the role. And yeah, I think tactically as well, the problem was Solskjaer did play a front two kind of with Martial and James. Martial put him to the left, James on the right, and that actually left Liverpool, because their wing backs were closing their full backs down the wings. That left a lot of space there for Liverpool to exploit, and I think that was also exacerbated by Mane coming in field. That drags Lindelof across. That opened up the big channel for Robertson, and Robertson actually played the most attacking third passes on the whole pitch, which is surprising for a fullback. And I think that tactically is how that ended up being the case.
Yeah, I had no idea that was a stat. I think the other problem for United was, and you've touched on it previously in several videos, and we've spoken off videos as well, Daniel James's pressing isn't effective, and I felt United's pressing in the first half wasn't effective. But the problem he was having is he was closing down Van Dijk, and when you're closing down a defender of Van Dijk's quality on the ball, you're just doing him a favour. He's just popping it off to Robertson, and all of a sudden you're getting a 3v2 situation on Liverpool's left side. To further emphasise the point on Van Dijk, he had an 88% pass accuracy, 64 passes completed in the game, which is the most in the game. That alone tells you Liverpool don't mind him having the ball. There's a lot of centre-backs, and we will talk about Lindelof and Maguire later on, but their passing accuracy wasn't at that level, and when the ball's at the back for United, it is like a hotcake, and Liverpool will happily press United, and that is what happened after the goal went in, and in the first, and in particular the 6 minutes after the first half, or like 6 to 10 minutes after the first half, the start of the second half, Liverpool were rampant, and they could have been 4 or 5-0 up. And I think one of the things that you said to me was an Alex Ferguson quote, which I can't remember, so I'm giving it to you.
Yeah, I think it was an Alex Ferguson quote from the Champions League final. I think it was the second of the two Champions League finals when Man Utd played Barcelona. He said about Barcelona, they get you on the carousel and their passing makes you dizzy. I think that's actually got a few similarities to Liverpool. Obviously not in the short tiki-taka way that Barca do, but in the way they spread the play across from flank to flank and really take advantage of the opposition's defensive disorganisation before they can settle into a block. And I think that does unsettle opposition, and I think Liverpool started getting into that flow around 20 minutes into the game. So that was shown in the stats where Liverpool actually played 20 successful long balls, the outfield players did. And I think it was Van Dijk with the most, it was Trent with the most with 6, and Liverpool and Manchester United players combined only made 6. So it shows what Liverpool's methodology is when they try and break down the low block.
Would you say they trouble Liverpool? I think people are saying they trouble Liverpool. I don't personally feel like Liverpool are very troubled.
So the Man Utd second half, I think it's interesting really, because Liverpool actually decided they wanted to surrender the possession in this one. They had 46% possession as opposed to 56% in the first half. And I think that shows Klopp's men, they can play in different ways now. They can set up in a block and they can defend quite comfortably. And I think in particular Van Dijk was a colossus in that last part of the second half when Liverpool did drop deeper. And he just showed the benefit. When he actually does need to defend, he's going to be... he produced a world-class bits of defending that you need to. And I think that's shown. Man U only created one big chance, even though they had dominated the ball. It was pretty sterile possession at the end of the day. One of my main issues was when Manchester United did dominate the ball, the problem was Anthony Martial was dropping very, very deep to try and link the play. And obviously, normally they've got Marcus Rashford coming inside from the left to fill that space that he vacates. It was shown because Martial actually only made one pass in the penalty area the whole game. He made more passes in the middle third compared to the attacking third. So it showed he was actually using quite a deep role, and that left him very, very empty in the penalty box with no threat.
But United, without Rashford, were quite toothless. But anyway, general themes, I think, Raj?
Yeah, let's get cracking.
All right, Raj's favourite bit. General themes, hit us with what you've got.
Right, so I know we love to talk about tactics, obviously, that's what the show is based on. I think it is important to realise, though, goals do change games. It's a pretty obvious statement, but set pieces are a big part of football, and even in the modern age of football where set pieces sometimes get frowned upon. And I think that's shown. Liverpool, as you said, they weren't really controlling the game in the first 20 minutes, as you said, maybe purposefully, but that set piece goal, it changed the whole game, and they've had 30 goals from set pieces since the start of last season. Next highest is Bournemouth with 27, I think. No, sorry, 23. So there's a vast gulf between them and everyone else, and it obviously gives you an edge in games like today.
I think also the big thing on that sense is Bournemouth have conceded 8 goals from set pieces, so it kind of balances out. I think don't quote me, but I think Liverpool conceded 2 since the start of last season, or 3. So like they basically don't concede from set pieces, and when you've got Van Dijk attacking them, it's a massive asset to have. I think you also, obviously without Rashford being in the side, you had a point on Mason Greenwood. Yeah, definitely. I mentioned it briefly before. I think Solskjaer, I don't think this system's going to work as a long-term viability, as we said, with the unsustainability of that back three and the overloads that are created as a result, but also up front, as we said, Martial dropping deep, no penalty box presence. I think Greenwood's got to play the next game. I think that that's the reason that's a positive is because the point I'm about to give you is a massive negative for United. Harry Maguire and Lindelof, and you point out in the first 10 minutes of that second half, which I keep touching on because I actually think that is where Liverpool could kill the game, and that is where Liverpool often kill the game. The press on Maguire and Lindelof, and in particular Daniel James as well, Manchester United couldn't handle it. So Maguire and Lindelof had a 78.6% accuracy, which is when you really think about that on a grand scheme of things, centre backs generally are just passing it square or they're passing it 4 or 5 yards. To have that passing accuracy in that position is atrocious.
As you said, the centre backs didn't play well out from the back. I think that was actually made worse as well by the positioning of the wing backs. I know we said the wing backs closed Robertson and Trent off the ball, but on the ball, their average position was actually deeper than Trent and Robertson, who were playing as a conventional fullback. So I think it's important to really signpost how good Van Dijk and Gomez have been, I think. As a partnership since the start of last season, that's 5 goals conceded in 17 Premier League games. So that's a decent sample size now as well. And over a 38 game season, that will be 11 Premier League goals conceded if that was extrapolated across. And I think the record is Chelsea in 04-05, who conceded 15 goals. But it just shows the staggering levels that they're performing at as a partnership together. And as we said, it actually enhances them going forward as well, because they can leave those two at the back in the comfort. They can leave those two at the back in the comfort, but they'll be able to deal with anything that comes their way due to that pace, athleticism, and reading of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it is fascinating that Liverpool have won 2-0 against Manchester United, and the biggest point is Van Dijk's performance, Gomez's acceleration, ability to be left 1v1 against probably one of the most dangerous attackers in the league on his day, Martial. But then also the other side of it is Liverpool won today with two defensive players getting assists, Trent and Alisson. That is a huge indication of the variation that Liverpool can score from. If it's the front three, I thought today, Mane, Firmino and Salah, I thought were average. I don't think any of them played particularly well. Of course, Salah scored at the end, which will shoot his rating up, but I don't think any of them played particularly well. I didn't think Gini had an incredible game. I thought he was effective at what he did, but going forward, I actually thought Liverpool
keeping it in a phone box routine.
Yeah, I love that tweet. I can't remember what the tweet was, but basically you could put him in a phone box and he wouldn't lose the ball. It's just so true about Gini. But overall, I think it's a massive 3 points for Liverpool. If you don't watch me on 5 Live or whatever, I actually said on 5 Live last week that if Liverpool beat Wolves, beat Manchester United and beat West Ham on the 30th of January, Liverpool will be crowned Premier League titles. Not officially, but I think Liverpool will have 2 hands on the title, which they're halfway there now.
Wolves everywhere there, Rambo. They're jinxing it.
Yeah, but listen, I just think that is what's going to happen. That is my prediction, that if Liverpool beat Wolves and West Ham, they will have both hands on the Premier League title, as I think there'll be a massive distance. But that is all from me and Raj, and hopefully we will see you guys very, very soon. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and comment below with all your thoughts. We'll see you guys soon.